another Thrift Shop Hustler interview, reseller interview. I'm very excited to bring to you today Trent, the Radical Reseller. We're going to get into that and bring him on in just a second. He's trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. So if you're watching this on the back end or you're watching this live, there is a link in the chat room, and definitely go and click the subscribe button. He's got a really cool video, a really cool channel, talks a lot about different hard goods, toys, Nerf guns, a lot of great pro tips on different things relating to eBay. So once again, I'm Chris with Thrift Shop Hustler. If you definitely are interested in learning anything about eBay, definitely go down there, click the like button, subscribe, share. And if you have any questions during this live stream, definitely go down there in the comments and leave a question, and we can highlight the question, as you can see here, just like I'm highlighting Trent's channel, the Radical Reseller. We can do that. So if you have any questions during this live stream, definitely go and leave them below. It is Friday night. It is the weekend of July 4th. I'm really excited for a great weekend. We're excited about doing a little bit of barbecuing and things. It's been a long week of reselling, so I'm very excited to do this interview. Trent has an amazing channel, and seems like a really amazing guy, knows his stuff when it comes to hard goods, Nerf guns, and things like that. And so we're going to get into that right now. I'm going to bring Trent on. And there we go. Trent, let us know a brief introduction to yourself and your channel and all that stuff, and welcome to the program.
Sure. Hey guys, Trent here. Welcome in the Radical Reseller channel. I'm a part-time reseller on eBay. I do it for fun and profit, and I take you along for the journey on my channel. So please come over and check it out. Have a good time going out thrifting with my family, my wife, and we are real passionate about it. We have a lot of fun doing it, but we're also making money along the way. And I think that's what I call the ultimate second job.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of which, do you have a full-time job, or do you do reselling full-time?
Yeah, I'm a part-time reseller. I work a corporate America job most of the time, about 60 hours a week. So my eBay stuff is really part-time and YouTube, but I do enough to keep it going, to be able to keep paying the bills and make some profit, and collect stuff along the way, and interact with a lot of cool items. Cool to me.
Right. Yeah, I think everyone has their own different things that they're familiar with. It has a part of it to do with, how they grew up and the different things that they were exposed to, like the different toys and the different kind of, situations and all that kind of stuff. So you say you work 60 hours a week. How do you do the family life balance with trying to do reselling and everything? How does that work?
Yeah, well, a lot of the times, whenever I'm going and doing my thrifting and all that, it's kind of sourcing stuff. I'm taking my wife along with me, and she's in there finding great stuff for herself. So, which I'm happy about. And, like I said, if she would lean into reselling a little bit more, I think she would immediately have a really nice inventory, because she's sourcing those really good women's clothes and shoes all the time. But yeah, we just do everything together. So I would say that would be a reason why we're able to do that. And to include, she's helping me out with my videos, and she helps me ship items and stuff like that. So we make it work.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a great partner there, and it seems like you balance each other out, because, you know about the collectibles and the things like that, and she knows about the women's fashion. And I think that's a great match, especially, nowadays where there's so much information, there's so many things to look for when you're going to places. Do you frequent thrift stores, or do you go to estate sales, garage sales? What's your wheelhouse when it comes to sourcing?
Yeah, I pretty much recently, the pandemic kind of shook things up a little bit, but
Yes, it has.
I was hitting yard sales pretty hard but it's been a while since I've been doing that. It's mainly thrift stores currently. I started to hit a few yard sales, but there just wasn't much out there right now because of what's going on here in Southern California. But it's mainly thrift stores right now, and I'm able to usually find enough to feel like I've spent too much money. So I think there is plenty of stuff still out there to get, even if you exclusively just go to thrift stores. But
Yes.
I'm gonna ramp up hitting the yard sales again too, because I think that's slash estate sale. I think that's where some of the biggest, you know, hidden treasure profit potential lies.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. In my experience, it's been the same thing where I kind of rank it like yard sales, garage sales, thrift stores, and then estate sales. Like you can find like those 25-cent items at
Oh yeah,
garage sales all the time. And especially like, I don't know about you, but I love finding those boxes that are like filled with like junk drawer stuff. And you're like
yeah,
digging through, digging through a
yeah,
treasure. So you mentioned the pandemic. When did you start going back into the stores and like, how was that experience?
yeah. I think it's been 3 weeks now. The hotspot thrift store that we go to, they form a line outside now before they open. And we went early today. We thought we did, but there was already a line formed. It was, I think, 45 minutes till they opened. Um, Not all of them are like that because this store is just, it seems like they just get such an influx of great merchandise that like there's a lot of reseller competition there and stuff. And I think that's why. But the other thrift stores is pretty much just wear a mask and come in. As far as I've noticed, I haven't been waiting outside the doors when they opened up for any other one but that particular thrift store. But yeah, it seems like it's kind of business as usual. Um, Maybe a little bit less people, so you have a little bit more first crack at some of the stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like for me, my experiences, working in a thrift shop is there was a lot of people that were just anxious. That's the word I'm looking for, to come and just get out of the house and shop. And also, people have been cleaning out their garages and their houses for the last 3 months. They've been
Mhm.
really cleaning stuff out. So this is the time that to go and check that out. If you're totally safe with, or totally okay with going out and that it is the potential health hazard, going out in public and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
so some people don't want to do that. Myself, I've done plenty of online arbitrage. I've done that for a long time. Do you do any online arbitrage?
Not necessarily arbitrage. I do look. Oh, I'm sorry. Arbitrage. You're talking about new merchandise, or
It's this no, it's the same. It's basically like a blanket statement saying you
oh
buy
yeah,
anything online to resell. Yeah.
shopgoodwill.com. I do look at that a little bit. Occasionally, I've looked at eBay to try it, but I kind of steer away from that because you got to be really really careful because they're resellers that are selling that stuff, right? But whenever the shopgoodwill.com, the warehouse was in full swing here to where I could go pick it up locally, I would try to get a lot of auctions, and you could get opening bid on some really good items. And I've gotten some really good stuff from shopgoodwill.com, like some I got these limited edition Mega Man prints for the video game Mega Man.
Oh,
I
cool.
think
Were they
yeah,
screen prints or were they lithographs?
I'm not good at that part. I know they were
No
signed and
worries.
they're
Okay. They were
but
they were like limited edition and all that kind of fun stuff.
yeah, sold for 200 or 300 bucks and paid like 30 or 40, I think, if I recall. I got some good stuff that I kept from there too. I got some 1980s. Well, you see them in my videos a lot of times. Is these Star Wars posters? They're
Oh,
uh,
okay.
yeah, got the
Those old were they the old movie posters and things?
yeah, Empire Strikes Back. I got two Empire Strikes Back posters and a Yoda Jedi Master poster that are 1980. Somebody put them on a poster board and adhesed them to them, but
Oh, that's the worst. I
but I paid only 10 bucks for them in an opening bid, and I think even adhesed to some cardboard like that, I can't roll them up if I wanted to sell them, but I think they would still sell for a pretty good amount if I wanted to.
Yeah, I have an original Empire Strikes Back poster in my office right here. You can't see it because the camera's all tied to
Yeah,
the
no problem.
computer and everything, but
It's good
I
stuff.
hear you, man. I love that stuff for sure. We got Farmer Girl Scavenger Nicole. That's a mouthful as far as a name. Um, she says we all need a good thrifting buddy. Mine is my oldest son who is 34 and has an eBay store around 480 items. That's actually a pretty good amount. And minds in different eyes help a ton. Estate sales are my thing. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Trent, do you do this estate sale thing?
If I'll be researching like garage sales, and if it happens to be an estate sale, I'll go check it out. But uh, it's I've noticed here. I might as well just go to the thrift store. It's kind of the same thing. The estate sale people that are running it, they won't give any kind of breaks on the price most of the time. So
Oh, right. Yeah.
so I can go in and maybe find a few things, but generally speaking, I think I usually, as far as the amount of money I'm willing to spend on any particular day, there's plenty of yard sales and thrift stores for me to go ahead and exhaust my funds on that. I would say.
Yeah, exactly. And I think estate sales are one of the areas where you're going to pay up on for things because that's just the nature of estate
Yeah,
sales. And I guess some days that you go, on the last days you can get a deal and everything. And
right.
there's a whole method to the madness. I'm not an estate sale guy by any stretch of the imagination. Like you said, I would do the same thing, if I just happened to stumble across one and things.
Yeah.
But I find like the estate sale thing is definitely when you know a lot about different things and you're able to buy something for 100 and then flip it for maybe 200. You know what I mean? It's
Yes, definitely. And I'm more of a lower risk kind of reseller where I'd rather go in and find the yard sale where the people are just literally like, oh yeah, you know what, $5 still a box, giving the stuff away. Uh, you can hit jackpots like that. And you can also, of course, with the knowledge in these estate sales, do a similar thing, but it's a higher investment probably.
Yeah, you don't want to tie up a bunch of capital in things that might be sitting around or something that, you're going to make, the ROI is not going to be tremendous and you just want to get as much as more bang for your buck, I guess you would want to say.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's backtrack a little bit. Shopgoodwill.com is a pretty good resource if you have lots of hidden bolos, because there's some certain things that pop up there from time to time. You mentioned that you use the auctions and things like that, and there's a lot of people that have so many different opinions about shopgoodwill.com. How long have you been on there, and like what's been your experience like so far?
Uh, it's been several years at this point. I don't remember exactly how many years. I think I think the website changed at one point.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, I think I've been on there since it was in the old state that it was.
So you've
Uh,
been you've been on there for at least 3 years then.
yeah,
Yeah,
at least 3 years, probably longer than that.
yeah,
Well, what I'm saying is, for me, certain things I'll look nationwide on shopgoodwill.com, but before the situation happened where they're not putting up as many items where I filter to my local San Diego warehouse to where I know if I win this, I can win a bunch of auctions and go pick them up locally, and it'll take me 10 minutes to drive over there and I don't have to worry about shipping. And that's a significant discount because the shipping prices on shopgoodwill.com are I think kind of wacky. Yeah, so pretty high, generally
yeah. You
speaking.
you got to know what you want, and you got to pay up for certain things. Like, how familiar are you with vintage Star Wars toys?
That wasn't something that I had as a kid. I mean, I've seen them. If there was a big pile of them, I wouldn't really know which ones are the one that they only made that one variant of cloak that the whatever guy is wearing and stuff like that. I'm not that knowledgeable. Yeah,
Gotcha. Because I was gonna say there. Are you familiar with the vinyl Cape Jawa?
that's what I've heard
You
stories
know,
about it.
you know
I've
that one.
studied on it a little bit. Yeah,
So the vinyl Cape Jawa was, I think it was a Sears exclusive in Canada, I want to say.
right.
Like I said, I mean, I know a pretty good amount of stuff about vintage Star Wars figures. I don't know. I know that it was probably something that was in Canada. One of those popped up on shopgoodwill.com one time, and I was like,
wow.
oh, that's a $10,000 figure on card, like in good condition.
Then it
And
just matters on who else knows what it is. That's, you know.
exactly, because
Yeah.
you can also, you've been on there, you know that you can message the sellers, you know, the specific managers that are listing. You know, you can basically email the San Diego store, and someone
Yeah.
will um it ended up lasting up for about a day, and it was up to like $1,000, and then it was removed.
Yeah, that's kind of shady.
And I was so like, I knew it, that, and it was like in amazing condition. It would have probably graded in an 85 or an 80 for
Once it
sure.
once it went up to 1,000, they're like, wait a second, what is this thing? Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I think someone let them know, like, hey, you got like a $10,000 figure on your hand,
Yeah.
and and it was removed. We're going to take a little bit of a side break right here. We're going to say hello to the people in the chat. We got Landshark Picker. He says, hey, Noel, and he says, hey, Chris, what's up? Landshark Picker is a really cool guy. I've interviewed him before, and he's interviewed me before. He's a really cool channel. Definitely go and check him out. We have the New England Patriot fan 87. I wonder who's going to be your new quarterback this year. I have no idea. I don't. All I know is Tom Brady's gone. I'm not really a huge sports guy, so we'll see how that. We're going to also say Trent with the Radical Reseller, who we're interviewing tonight, a really cool guy. I'm going to leave a link to his channel right now. Again, we're going to do this plenty of times throughout the episode here. And go and just give him a subscribe if you're into toys and a lot of great information reselling. As a matter of fact, Trent, I'm going to refresh your page right here and see where you're at.
Cool.
968. So all we need is 32 more subscribers, and that will unlock Trent's. Well, you're pretty close to the 400, or is it 4,000 watch hours?
Today I was at 3,920. So
Oh, so I mean, you're pretty much there. Next week, you're gonna,
yeah, I'm right on track.
yeah, you're right on track. So definitely go and check that out. So I really appreciate that. His link is going to be below right there, and so definitely do that.
Thanks so much.
Let's get, yeah, no problem. Like you have a great channel, and I just wanted to help you out and get some, you know, let my subscribers know, and pick your brain a little bit, because, you know, it just, your channel, like, in the things that you collect, reminds me a lot of the stuff that I really enjoy collecting
Yeah.
and selling and things like that. Speaking about collecting, do you collect anything? It looks like you do collect stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So my collection is currently, well, there's video games and then there's toys, right? So let me tell you a quick story. 2007, 2008 timeframe. My wife and I actually were hitting thrift stores and collecting a ton of video games. And we kind of time vaulted that stuff in the a little storage shed here. And over the last couple months, because of the situation that's happening here in the United States, we started cleaning house around here, and I uncovered all that stuff. And so I've been going through that in some of my past videos. So I had a pretty good collection of some pretty good stuff. But as far as collecting personal, the stuff that I'm not going to sell, I'm trying to keep like a video game system of every kind of console and everything. But original Nintendo, I'm a big fan of that. I was a Nintendo fanatic whenever it came out in the mid 80s, right? I actually used to have, my mom told me about it, that I would sleepwalk. And she believed that it was because of the video games. I was like saying stuff that didn't make any sense. Like the game Mario Brothers and stuff like that literally like made me a little nuts as a kid. That's how powerful Nintendo was back then. Whenever it first came out, it was a major impact on young minds like me. But yeah, so Nintendo, Sega, and all that stuff, video game collecting, I enjoy that quite a bit. And so part of reselling for me is supplementing collections, you know, the hobby of collecting too, selling off the stuff that I don't want to keep in the collection, or maybe isn't quality enough particularly for my taste for the collection and stuff, and recoup some of that cash to where you can, in theory, almost get your stuff for free or pretty close. And I got vintage Kenner aliens is something I've been interested in collecting because I had those,
Oh yeah.
some of them as a kid. So I've been getting some of the ones I didn't have as a kid. And then I have pretty much almost the complete set of toy line made by the same toy line that made or the toy brand that made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is Dick Tracy. They
Oh,
made a toy line.
Playmates.
Huh?
Was it Playmates?
Yeah, Playmates. They
Yeah.
made a toy line uh, whenever the movie came out with Warren Beatty and Madonna, and I have everything. You spoke of Canada, exclusive to Canada stuff.
I know
I
where you're
think,
going with this. I
yeah,
know where you're going with
I
this.
have everything.
Do you have that figure?
No, no, I have everything but that. Yeah. So
Let everyone know. I know what it is because I've
yeah.
been.
So the Blanks
Mhm.
character, which was Madonna in the movie, uh, at the end of the movie, it's revealed that Madonna is the Blank, right? Was they didn't release it in the United States right away because they didn't want to spoil that part of the movie, right? So it ended up not even getting released in the United States. So on the backs of all the Dick Tracy toys in the stores here in the United States, you would see the Blank character, but you could never actually buy it here in the United States. So it's a carded, boarded one and everything is I think well over 1,000 or maybe a couple thousand.
Oh wow, that price has gone up a lot.
Yeah, and then a loose one would be several hundred. You know, I consider my collection complete. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one of those in person, and I knew when you started talking about Dick Tracy, I wanted to just scream like, do you have the Blake? Do you have the
Oh
Blake?"
no, man! Wouldn't that be something? But we'll probably never. The chances of finding it here in the United States, like if you were thrifting for it or something like that, it's probably never going to happen because it was. It's not like it was just released in a limited quantity here. It was. I just believe it was not even released here. So there may be some, but and what else? I collect Nerf, but it's mainly to sell. I don't necessarily like hang on to it. I put it all up for sale, but I do enjoy having a collection on hand. It's fun to interact with. I played with Nerf as a kid, but it was way different back then. It was like
Yeah, it was.
just a little dart gun that everybody's shooting each other with. Now they got all these different kinds of series
Yeah.
and themes and stuff. And yeah, I got Masters of the Universe Classics. I would say that I collect that, but it's mega expensive. The reason why I have my Masters of the Universe Classics toys is because I actually found them. I guess you could say retail arbitrage in Big Lots stores. They had them for $10 a piece. 2013 time frame, and
Oh, really? They must have came out of an old warehouse or something. You're talking about the vintage ones or
no, the in around 2010
the
ish.
first reissue?
Yeah, well, it's not really a reissue. They remade them to be more adult like and more detailed and all that stuff. But I
It
guess you
was
could
like
call it a reissue.
it was like almost like when the popularity of the McFarlane figures. I remember those. I know exactly which ones
Yeah.
you're talking about. Yeah.
So I have a few of those just because I happen to get those, and I was selling those on eBay when I first started selling on eBay. And boy, I wish I wouldn't have done that because I was like getting them for $10 and selling them for $30. And like this one I have right here, Orko, uh, I think it's like $100 figure now. So,
Oh my
and I had a
goodness.
bunch of those.
Because I remember when those came out, I was like, oh, they look pretty cool because, like you said, they made them more, with the art and everything. They looked really cool. There was like
Yeah,
a different spin on those figures. You actually did a good segue there with Nerf guns. I definitely wanted to touch on that. I have that in my notes here. So,
sure.
uh, I remember when Nerf actually first came out, it was like these round foam balls. Do you remember those? They would like do the little popper
Yeah.
guns.
Whenever I played with my buddy, my buddy had most of the Nerf guns, and it was called the Master Blaster, I think. And I would always grab that one. But it was pretty ineffective to actually hit your opponent, your battle mate. And he was using a more precision type blaster, would always get me. But yes, the Master Blaster, I remember that. The like almost like bigger than a ping pong ball, but smaller than a tennis ball. Foam
Yeah,
balls.
we used to do use those with slingshots.
Oh
you,
yeah.
you you had a lot more velocity
Oh yeah.
with those things. So let's dive into Nerf guns. I definitely want to touch on this. I think everyone will have a great time learning about Nerf guns. I don't know too much about them too much. My kids just love them, and so I can understand why. Back in the day, there used to be a bunch of you could toy guns and things, and nowadays there's not really many toy guns.
Yeah,
And there's just something about toy guns that kids really love, and I think it's part of the American psyche and things like that. Um, I mean, take it away with Nerf guns. I mean, what do you? I don't even know what kind of questions to ask, like what to look for, like how to like make sure they're not broken. So just
sure.
go ahead and just take it away about Nerf guns.
Okay, well, I mean, the reason why I like Nerf guns is it's kind of like this middle ground as far as it's like it's not it's a bread and butter item, but there's a little bit of potential to make some home run profit on it. There's some uncommon stuff, but even with the common stuff, it's the kind of item that if you're just going to thrift stores and yard sales and stuff like that, it's something you're going to have access to. It's something you're going to be able to find, right? And the more you like learn about the Nerf guns and the accessories and stuff like that, you're gonna realize that oh wow, that's like a $10 bill laying there, and that's a $15 bill laying there, and oh, all these accessories, a huge bag for $3.99. Wow, that's $100 worth of accessories that I could just whatever throw on an auction and make some quick cash. I found stuff like that in the thrift store, where they just uh, they bag it up and put it out there, and it's kind of like a little lottery, the people pricing it that don't necessarily treat it as anything special. They treat it like, oh, because you'll see they'll put in like lesser non-branded toy guns in there with them too. So they're just thinking, oh yeah, toy guns, $2.99 for a bag or whatever. Occasionally they price them up a little bit, but so there's a lot of different series. I can show you a few of the different series that you can be on the
Yeah,
lookout for and kind of
that'd be great.
understand what ammunition goes with them and stuff like that and accessories. Uh,
Yeah, because I know there's like things like there's like the zombie ones, and there's End Strike, and there's the Mega Bullets, and
yes. So, yeah, the one you're going to find the most is the End Strike. The paint usually almost always looks like this, that blue. And they have this little End Strike logo on them. So
mm.
these take the regular, at this point in time, I would say are like the regular darts.
But we could we call them standard? Is there a name for that? Do they call them the standard darts, or is there anything?
They call them End Strike darts. You can
Oh,
buy
okay.
these on eBay, generic ones, 1,000 of them for less than $25. That's what I do because I like to supplement my lots with some ammunition for the regular End Strike. Other blasters types, I probably don't go. I don't go ahead and invest in the ammunition because it's a little bit more expensive, and but that's the main reason. So End Strike darts just have a regular. Going the wrong way. Have a regular tip. Uh, here's another one. End Strike Retaliator. So
Trying to see if I could.
you can see the paint theme in that, right?
Yeah,
And so this is a blaster. You may find it in a bag, and then uh, maybe some of these accessories that go with it are laying around. And a lot of this stuff mixes and matches, so you don't have to, worry if it's maybe everything is. You don't have to worry about everything's the correct thing that goes with the blaster. You can always find a way to piece it later. And even if the blaster doesn't work, you can use the accessories for other working blasters. So there's a way to kind of like mitigate your losses a little bit. You can even sell, it's obviously you want to try to test it out and see if it works if you can, but you can even sell the stuff that doesn't work. Just pile it up in a lot. Is once you get enough of it, you can sell it as a lot of non-working to try to recoup some of your cash because there's not just people out there that are care about working blasters. There's people out there that like to use them for parts and modify Nerf blasters. There's people out there that like to cosplay, so they don't really care about the functionality of the blaster. They may just want that particular model to paint it up a certain way and make it for their steampunk outfit.
So real quick, Trent, I have a question. We actually have two questions. We're gonna get through. Let me get Landshark Picker's question real quick before I ask mine. He's asking, what about the BFG? I have no idea what that is. Do you know what that he's talking about?
Yeah, is that what it's called? Well, that's a reference to in Doom. You can get the BFG, which stands for big gun.
Effing
Uh,
gun.
I think Nerf made an equivalent. That that's a good question. Off the top of my head, I don't remember that one.
No problem. So my question is, what would you say the percentage of guns that you get are broken or they're not working? Would you say
That's a
like
good
half
question.
or yeah?
I would say less than 10%, maybe
Yeah.
5-6% of them. And then, of course, like I said, even if they're not working, hopefully they had accessories with them. Oh, and another thing I do a lot, if it's a blaster that, let me get an example. Okay, let's say this Doomlands blaster didn't work. So I'm going to take the magazine and keep that for another blaster, right? And then here's a battery door. This actually runs with batteries.
Hmm.
So I'm going to take this battery door off and I'm going to put it for sale on eBay and recoup a couple bucks like that. And then later, I'm going to put this in a big lot with a bunch of other non-working blasters and sell it off. We're not
Gotcha.
talking phenomenal profits, of course, but it's a way to try to, cut your losses and everything and just try to maximize your profit.
No, I mean, it seems like shipping would be a pain in the ass too, with because those are so large and you're dealing with that. Do you usually go UPS or FedEx ground with that kind of stuff?
Well, so because of yeah, you're correct about the shipping. Because of the shipping, these Nerf guns are usually an individual. Most of the individual blasters, except for maybe the pistol style, the small ones are too heavy to go first class. So and you might not like the way the profit looks selling particular individual blasters because of having to go priority mail or FedEx shipping. So that's why I like to put them in lots. And so I end up usually going into 5 to 7, sometimes 8, 9 pound range whenever I'm making a shipment. And that usually ends up being FedEx shipment for me. Uh, I would say I average shipping FedEx maybe $15. So
Oh, that's not
somewhere,
bad. That's
yeah,
actually a
13
good
to
price.
$17, somewhere in that range. Occasionally since I live in California, occasionally I'll get unlucky and the person's in Florida or
Right.
Massachusetts or something, and it'll be like 20 something dollars. But even when that happens, I just didn't make as much profit as I thought I was going to, I guess, or and that's part of doing business. So
Yeah, and to stop you real quick, for anyone out there, a pro tip is if you're going to take a best offer on something, you can actually see where the people are coming from. So if
yes,
shipping's going to, yeah, so if shipping's going to be a problem, just before you click accept, just see like where they're at so you can kind of get a better feel for your profit margin. Because like you said, the difference between California and New York is going to be like $10 sometimes or even more.
yeah,
So if you're looking, at your profit margin, you definitely want to make sure that you're, charging enough for shipping and that's one of the hardest things for doing that kind of stuff is with everything else, you need to be doing this for a long time. Well, not a long time. You need to be doing this enough to know like what the price points are. You're like, oh, okay, if I sell this lot, I know it's going to cost this much. And then you charge. That's actually brings me to another question. I apologize for kind of going sideways with all this stuff.
it's all good.
Um, do you charge for shipping or you do free shipping?
So since eBay implemented the uh, promoted listings program, I started charging for shipping. And the reason why is because whenever eBay, I use promoted listings on almost all my listings. So whenever eBay calculates how much you're going to pay for your promoted listing fee, if the item sells on a promoted listing, they only look at the sale price. They don't look at the shipping. So by charging shipping, you are saving yourself money on promoted listing fees because obviously if I'm charging the shipping, I'm cutting that out of the sale price, right? So that's that much money that is not being calculated for my promoted listing fee.
I
So I
didn't know
started doing,
that. That's the first
yeah,
time I've ever heard of that. That's
yep.
that's news to me. That's great.
You
It's a good
wouldn't think
point.
it would be that way because eBay, of course, when it comes to final value fees and stuff like that, they make sure to get you on the shipping too, right? But not for the promoted listings until they change it. I was surprised that they didn't do that. I don't know what the reason is why.
I mean, to be honest, it makes sense to me because it's like it goes into the like legality of possibly price gouging because I don't want to call it, I don't, it's not price gouging, but it's like double dipping in a way,
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? And I don't think like, I think once enough people, found out if that was the case, then there'd be a problem. So they probably just figured,
maybe.
and probably it's like a tax thing with them. But yeah, I didn't know that. So that's actually a really cool pro tip.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting thing that might blow your mind. Then I haven't. I tried to. I
I'm
attempted
ready
to.
for that.
I attempted to experiment with this, but so that being the case, with the promoted listings, you get to select the percentage of promotion you want to choose, right?
Yep.
Well, what's stopping you from a $10 item charging 5 cents and putting 99% promotion on it, and 9.95 in shipping? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
are you going to get 100% promotion? I don't know.
You can do
I
an
thought that
experiment. That sounds like
you get what I
a
mean, though, right? Like,
yeah, yeah, of
yeah.
course.
So I don't know what they would do, but anyways, I'll just continue to do it the normal way. I don't want to get on eBay's bad side.
Yeah, definitely not. Landshark Picker says kids party lots seem to sell very well. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So when you do your lots, do you basically put all the like guns together, or do you just put a smorgasbord of stuff together?
Uh, yes, I do like lots. You can put a smorgasbord together of different styles, and it'll sell. But I like to think that I'm putting together a package of like blasters, definitely like ammunition at the very least. To where maybe a kid is like, oh, that's Zombie Strike is the theme that my kids on the playground play with. So there's a bunch of stuff that I need. Or a parent, is trying to shop for a birthday party or something like that. And they're like, oh, wow. In this lot, it's out of the box. It's ready to go, basically. And so the birthday party pack is something I like to do. And it's a way you can use some of the some of the more cheap blasters, actually, and make a pretty good sale, pretty good profit. I'll show you those blasters real quick.
Yeah. Now you're talking about the zombie ones, or we're talking about something else here?
No, I'll go to that. But for the birthday party pack, I like to use these blasters right here. We got
Oh,
we got the strong arm. It takes 6 regular end strike darts, and it shoots one shot at a time. And you usually find these for $2 or less. And you put 10 of these together in a lot with maybe like 100 darts, and this is ready for a birthday party. The kids don't need anything but what's in the box. It doesn't require batteries, it doesn't require spare magazines, anything like that. They're ready to go. And then the other one, this is an older version, basically almost of the same thing. It's called the Maverick. Same exact thing. And 10 of these will fit nicely in I believe, if I remember correctly, the shipping boxes that we get from eBay, the 16 by 12 by 8 box. So party pack, I can sell, I would say $80 to $100, sometimes more. Maybe if you want to put a few more blasters in there, or maybe a few more darts in there. That includes shipping, but when you're only paying a couple bucks for 10 of these, it's a good way to move them and get a significant amount of profit out of something that if you were selling these individually, I don't think you would get close to that.
gotcha. That's actually a really good profit. So basically, you're buying these things anyways, so you'll just piece them together, and then eventually, when you have enough for the party pack, do you put like party pack in the title? Is that kind of what you do
I do.
too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Put that birthday party pack in there. And I've had moms contact me sometime and said, what did they say? Oh, I'm buying your party pack, but where'd you get your darts? I want to buy 1,000 more. And so I'm like, well, it definitely gave me a signal that the party pack worked, because
Yeah. So for me personally, I don't come across Nerf guns that often to even like consider trying to put something like that together.
yeah, that's part of it. Some people may not like that when it comes to reselling. Is you're gonna have to, if you want to do it the way I do it with these lots, you're gonna have to hold on to inventory and not just put everything up for sale right away. You got to wait till you get those pieces of the puzzle, you know, and that's kind of fun though too. So it depends on how you look at it.
Right. So you had some other stuff too to share, or?
Sure, I'm surrounded with Nerf guns here. uh, so you mentioned Zombie Strike.
Yeah.
Zombie Strikes, I think, is pretty popular. I kind of underestimated it. I don't know, for some reason it just looks cheap to me, but I think that's not the case. It doesn't matter if the kids want it. But here's one called the Sling Fire. This one's a little bit more going to be obviously a little bit more of a pain to ship because of the length. But
Right.
you see, the logo right here is the Zombie Strike logo,
Okay.
and usually they have this kind of neonish green paint scheme. I think this is about a $30 blaster right here. Uh,
Okay.
Individual sale. More examples. Other Zombie Strike, we got the Flip Fury. This one's one you're going to want to test out in the store quite often because the flipping mechanism doesn't always work properly. You can make sure the cylinder turns. Usually you'll find this for $1.99. You can add it to your lot. Here's another Zombie Strike called the Side Strike. There's that Zombie Strike logo. This would be like their version of the individual pistol. But you get 3 or 4 of these Zombie Strikes together, marketed as a Zombie Strike lot. Maybe add some darts, and they take the regular end strike darts, by the way. You can make you a $40 to $60, $70 sale. It just depends on what you have in the lot, and you know, open up that best offer and see what happens. I like to put best offer on there, but because you know, if you can take $5-10 less and make that sale and still make a significant amount of profit, get your capital back, be ready to go buy more stuff. Might as well. But a lot of people will just hit that buy it now, and it's nice, especially if you do it like me. I like to price it a little higher than I really reasonably expect to get, maybe a little bit higher. And so when somebody hits that buy it now on you, then you're like, great.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna stop real quick to say to go and subscribe to Trent's channel. The Radical Reseller. He's getting close to 1,000 subscribers, and let's actually check right real quick to see where you're at with that.
Cool.
I was hoping you'd be able to get through 1,000, but it doesn't look like it. But you're getting close, man, and that's really cool. You have a really good channel. It's funny because every video I've seen, it's like you're doing something, and then there's a Nerf gun that, like, you know, you're gonna like, oh, I gotta pack up this Nerf gun. So it's funny that you. So would you say like what? Okay, let's back up. So
Sure.
would you say that zombie stuff is like probably the most popular Nerf gun, or what's
No,
something
that might be one of the more popular ones for kids. But so I'll show you the most popular Nerf gun, or I think the most bang for your buck as far as being able to make a really good sale and make profit. Let me show you that stuff.
Cool.
It's called Rival. This is a newer series. I think it's been out. Well, what's this? 2014 is this when this blaster came out? So the Rival series, obviously easily identified. The names of the blasters are a little hard to identify because they put Roman numerals on these things. So you'll have to look up the Roman numeral if you don't have the actual name of the blaster memorized. And then on eBay, it'll say that it's a Zeus or a Artemis. They use like Greek mythology names for them, but unfortunately, they don't put them on the blaster. But these are big kid blasters. These things shoot. Let me get the ammunition to show you.
Okay. Do they have the mega? Are they called the mega darts?
No, they shoot these balls. Okay. And these things are not for little kids. These put a sting on you. These shoot at a high feet per second, and they shoot hard. They hit you hard. This is like a step down from whatever paintball or whatever, you know, that transition from playing end strike on the playground to kind of really having a tactical war with some young adults or even adults probably. But these fetch a little bit more of a premium. However, when you're at the thrift store, most of the thrift store people are going to be like, oh, another Nerf gun, $2.99. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've never heard of that. That's actually pretty crazy. I don't want to let my son know that those things exist.
Yeah, here's another example. This is called the Kronos. It's the single shot pistol equivalent. Well, it's not single shot, but it's kind of like those other ones. If you wanted to do a party pack, this might be an option.
Yeah, it looks like RoboCop's gun a little bit.
Yeah, I think they made a Deadpool version of this one,
Okay.
exclusive. And here's another one. I think this one's called the Apollo. I can't remember it, but
Wow, that's cool.
yeah.
I like that
So
one because of the counterweight on the back.
yeah, they all fire real smooth and really hard and with pretty good accuracy. My wife has one and she stings me every once in a while with it. She confiscated one and she has a good time giving me a hard time.
That's too funny. We got Nikki T. Wheeler in the house. How you doing, Nikki T. Wheeler? Hope you're having a amazing night. It's good to see you. We also got Mary McQuain's in the house. All the legends are coming out tonight. We really appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, if you're not subscribed to Chen's channel, definitely go down there and do that. So is there any kind of like home run guns that are like worth just crazy amounts of money?
There are crazy. I don't know. I guess it depends on definition of crazy. I
Over
think there.
$100, $200, $300, any in those ranges?
I think there might be. I'm not as versed on that. I have some. Actually, my wife thrifted one a little while ago. That's a good one. I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
Um, this is it, and this is the magazine. You see the paint matches.
It's got a drum magazine.
It's got
That's
a
so
drum
funny.
magazine.
Holy shit.
This is the this blaster you'll find all the time, but it'll be the standard blue
Okay.
and strike colors. But this is the Raider CS35, and it always, this is the kind of magazine that usually comes with it. But this paint scheme is called the Gear Up series, and this was a limited series. When I listed this on eBay, I was looking around and I was the only one that had it, so I have it for like about $100 total, including shipping right now. No one's bid on it, but or sent me an offer, but I think I'm going to end up making a $60-$70 sale or something like that on it. And if I don't, I'll just hang on to it until the right buyer comes around. But it's a little bit of an example of, I would call that a home run.
Yeah, that's crazy. Real quick, Mary Beth G says, love Trent and all his channel, all his info and channel. That's really
Hey, Mary Beth,
that for sure.
appreciate it.
And Mary McQueen says, Metallica, Ride the Lightning, love it. I saw that tour since that's how old I am. I've been enjoying the Radical Resellers videos.
Awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You would think that if I was Nerf, I would probably have a booth at like San Diego Comic-Con and like have some exclusive guns that are a limited run. That I think that would be like really, really popular. And do you know, has Nerf ever done any like super limited exclusive things? You said that colorway is kind of a limited edition. Do they have any like really true, like really rare guns that you know of?
I'm not. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
That's a
no,
good
that's
question.
cool.
I limit my knowledge to what I find. You know what I mean?
I'm giving you all kinds of homework tonight.
No, yeah, no, great. Well, the thing is once I find it in the thrift store, I'm going to buy it. It's like, well, for that, I don't need to be on the lookout because I'm going to find it. You know what I mean? Or I don't need to have that knowledge. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. Cause like I'm the same way. And there's so many things that I never knew about, but working in this particular job that I work in, I'm exposed to so many different things and I wouldn't even thought to look at it. It's the same thing with the Nerf guns. Maybe they're rare or whatever, but once you start to come across them is when you're like, oh shit, I better, I better start looking out for that particular thing.
Oh yeah. Well, the good thing about it is, like I said, is you're always going to find them in the thrift store, and they're usually going to be a fair price. They're easily to find. It's not like a smaller toy where it may be in a bag of a bunch of toys and you're digging through it and find that one rare little toy or whatever that's actually worth your time. You're going to be able to easily find the Nerf guns and then go through them. And in a situation like that, if it was some super rare limited gun, I would first off, I would probably just buy it. If I didn't recognize the paint, and then I would look it up real quick, probably too. You could probably just search in that case, I could search orange Raider and probably come up with something because that's an uncommon paint scheme.
Oh
But
my goodness. So I hate to interrupt. I gotta share this. Your mind's gonna be blown right now. You ready? Let's see if I can do this in without screwing this up here. Um, there looks like there's a $2,000 Nerf gun that's an exclusive for Travis Scott. I guess Travis Scott's like a rapper, hip hop artist. And look at a Fortnite gun, I guess, Travis Scott version, $2,000. Do you
so
see it?
that's a pretty fairly recent.
Yeah. And look at this lot of 16 guns, $2,000. Is that true, or do you think something like this would go for that much money, $2,000?
I'm trying to see what might be in it.
Here, let me see if I can zoom in. How's that?
Nothing stands out to me. That looks like a normal like stuff that you find that I would have. I don't
Yeah.
know what that's all about.
All right, cool. I'm gonna stop sharing. Hopefully, I can get back. Oh, there we go. Cool.
I did
Yeah. No.
find a semi-vintage piece today. It's 2001, if you want to call that. Some people call that vintage, but
Well, it's the proper. I think it's 20 years is when you can start. But
yeah,
it's
so
pretty
19
close.
years old,
Yeah.
almost. This is one
Whoa.
called. You see where they came from.
It's like it looks like a super soaker kind of.
Almost, it's like because it uses an air chamber. So this was their way to be able to the technology that they were able to do rapid fire, fully automatic. They had to
Oh my.
pump it, and then it just keeps doing air blasts and shoots
It
automatic.
it reminds me of like a honeybee too. Like when you look in
Yeah,
the front of it, it looks like a bee.
or the transformer bumblebee
Oh,
could transform
there,
into it. Yeah.
there we go. There we go. Now we get the full. Oh, does it pump from the front?
Yeah.
Ah,
So uh,
that's
this,
nuts.
if it were, I've tested it out. It seems like it's working pretty good. I paid $2.99 for it, and I'm looking it up. I think in this condition, I think it's a $50 or $60 blaster. So I think it was a pretty good, decent little mini home run today.
Yeah, no
Um,
kidding. Yeah, I've never seen that before. Like I said, I mean the Nerf guns are just a lot of crazy like different designs and things. Um, do you sell any clothes or what is your basically your makeup of the store? Is it basically collectibles and Nerf guns?
Basically, I sell just a lot of one-off different kind of stuff. I do sell some clothes. I try if I find a piece here and there that I'm like, oh yeah, mainly at a yard sale. It's like, oh, that looks vintage. It's $1. Sure, shoes more. I would be more interested. I do go by the shoe rack and see if I can find shoes that I think is in my wheelhouse to sell. Mainly athletic shoes. I like to sell men's and women's. Asics, Adidas, stuff like that, because I can find a pair for maybe $3.99 and sell it for $30, and that's a good bread and butter one for me. Um, as far as studying very in-depth knowledge about these clothing brands that you're going to find in the men's dress shirt section and stuff like that, I don't touch that stuff too much.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of clothes either. I just don't like, the time I guess, if you do it enough, it won't take that. But the time it takes to do all the measurements and,
Yeah,
the
you're going to
listing
add.
notes.
I would say a clothing item adds 5 minutes more to every listing, probably, right? I mean, because you got
Yeah.
to put it. If you want to be competitive, you got to put it on a mannequin. That takes time. You got to measure it and all that kind of stuff.
And
So
yeah,
I
because I
do a
see
little.
you sell, yeah, because I see you sell a lot of media too, and that's super easy to
Yeah.
list. Do you have one of these? Do you have a USB scanner?
No, I never got one of those. Whenever I listed all my media, I totally should get one of those. 'Cause I should have had it whenever I bought that media lot from this Amazon seller. And I think it was about 2014, 2015. I bought over 1,000 sealed media items from this guy, and I've been selling on them for years. But
So real quick, everyone, this is it's a USB scanner. It's literally like $15 shipped. It plugs right into your USB. You can scan pretty much any media you can scan anything that has a barcode on it, and it makes your listing job so much easier. I definitely highly suggest everyone purchasing one of these and having them on hand, because you can just scan through the video games, the DVDs on Amazon, on eBay, and I use it mostly for the media, for basically like seeing, if I have a bunch of DVDs, I could see which one's an OOP and out of print DVD, And that's how you come across the ones that are like expensive, because you can just zap right through them. And also it's easier when you're listing them because you can just do that zap, you see what it is, and then you just do a sell similar and use all the information. You change the title a little bit, of course, but
I got to do that. I got to get one of those. If it's only $15, sure.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, tools of the trade, man, there's so many of them. I can probably start looking for some here, but I don't have time for that. But is there any kind of like tools of the trade, like kind of things that you use all the time, like that you suggest to anyone that's new to eBay, like something that's like, for me, like a must have is a scanner. It's like, I have to tell everyone you got to have a scanner. Is there something like that in your collection that you think like everyone should have?
Well, it's probably pretty basic, but for me, like isopropyl alcohol, which weirdly, uh, right now you can't get in the
Can I tell you?
stores.
Can I tell
Go
you
ahead.
why you can't get it?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's because people are making their own hand sanitizer. You
Okay.
mix that stuff up with now, don't anyone do this because you can really screw yourself up if you do it wrong. But I think people are mixing that with aloe vera, like
Oh,
raw aloe vera, and that's how you basically make your own rubbing alcohol, or not rubbing alcohol, hand sanitizer. I don't suggest anyone do that because there's been horror stories out of New York
oh
about
boy.
people that are getting third-degree burns from putting a little bit too much of that stuff in there. But I could see like it's part of to the making of other things, so it's basically in demand. But yeah, I don't have that stuff. That's one thing I don't have. So it's a good idea,
I'm
because it
running
takes off like
extremely low.
anything, right?
Huh?
Because it's used to like to clean anything, right?
Pretty much used to clean anything. It's the main thing I deal with is sticker residue and Sharpie. They write on all the blasters. They can't just put a sticker on it or just write on it. They got to put a sticker on it, and they got to write over the sticker to like reinforce the fact that it was priced. So I'm constantly using isopropyl to, a couple swipes will get that Sharpie off, and you can handle some of the sticker residue if you want to with isopropyl.
And
But
it doesn't eat the plastic, right? Because that's the major thing. It doesn't eat plastic.
no, get the 70%, the kind that just, they call it rubbing alcohol. It's at
Oh,
Dollar
okay.
General. Get and no, it won't. There's every once in a while there'll be some kind of surface that'll leave some kind of little ashy look to it. You know what I mean, like a foggy kind of look. But
Yeah,
that's
right. Because you're
plastic.
yeah.
No,
So let me give everyone a pro tip here, since we're doing pro tips about cleaning supplies. What I use to so you see all those toys in your behind you, and
Yep,
they'll have like the plastic kind of like windows that kind of
yep,
show through. Do you ever notice like some of the old ones, they have kind of like a foggy look to them, or they're scratched or whatever?
yeah,
If you take some virgin olive oil and you put a little dab on it on a rag and you
okay,
wipe it, it'll actually clear those up. What it does is on the microscopic level, it fills the cracks, and you put it on, you apply it, you rub it in real good, and then you clean it off, because that stuff will stay there. It's like it's 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 olive oil.
sure,
That'll make any of those things crystal clear. Also, if you ever have any stubborn sticker residue, olive oil works amazing. Now, never use olive oil on cardboard. So like if you have a cardboard backer, or basically any of those packages that you have behind you, they're all like basically cardboard and plastic.
right. You got to be
Never,
very careful not to hit the cardboard part.
yeah, don't put olive oil on the cardboard, because it'll soak it right up. But if you have any residue on any kind of die cast stuff, olive oil works amazing, and it's non-toxic. And yeah, dude. So if you ever get in a little bit of a pinch and you're like, oh, I want to make this window clear because it's all foggy or whatever, you can use a little bit of olive oil.
Yeah, I haven't tried that one, but other tools, like I said, isopropyl alcohol, uh, vinegar for battery compartments.
Oh, I heard about that. I've never
Yep,
used that before. Yeah, I've
yeah,
heard that.
white vinegar. You're going to run into corroded battery compartments, and that'll dissolve that leftover battery acid residue.
You just put a little bit on a Q-tip and then kind of rub it on there. Or...
Yep, let it do its work. Rub it on there, let it do its work. You will see it like doing a chemical reaction and fizzling it away.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and you can then clean it with isopropyl alcohol afterwards, and it'll help it dry faster.
Well, that would make sense because isn't what do you call it? Vinegar acidic and alkaline is like, alkaline, so it
Yeah,
would make a chemical reaction. That
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
Oh
Works
man.
really good. Yeah, the smell, it smells, of course, vinegar smells, but once it dries, the smell dissipates, especially if you clean it with isopropyl alcohol afterwards.
Yeah, I don't really mind the vinegar smell too much. I mean, I guess there's other smells that are worse than that, but yeah, I can see
Yeah,
maybe the chemical reaction makes a kind of a weird maybe smell or whatever. So,
yeah. Well, I like the smell too, but I was just thinking about if someone was like, "Oh, well, if I send this to a customer and it's going to smell like vinegar,"
oh,
you know what I mean?
yes,
So,
yes. That's actually a good point. You bring
yeah,
up different things. I do one of the side hustles, I guess you can call it, is I do like print on demand, and there's like something called sublimation printing. It's basically like a printer that prints the image on the shirt. It's not silkscreen, and whatever chemicals or whatever things they use is like a vinegar smell. And like, a lot of people, they get those shirts and they're like, this shirt's broken. The shirt's broken. It smells like vinegar. So you get
oh
that
yeah,
time. So I totally understand how you and that reminds me, like, when you see the eBay listings are like smoke free, pet
yeah,
free, pet free home and stuff like
yeah,
that, because people are allergic to all that kind of stuff.
yep,
So
yeah.
we got a couple people in the house. We got Marrakeech 7. He's asking real quick, do we sell Nerf guns in American Cancer Society? I was talking to Trent about this earlier. Not really. We don't really they don't really come in too often, and if they do, they usually don't get put out on the floor. But I'm trying to get all the managers up on the different things to kind of look out for. We got the Lone Star Picker in the house. We really appreciate you tuning in. He's looking for the scanner and what it's called. It's just a USB barcode scanner. They have this is how nuts I am. I have a wireless one for wireless activity, and then I have a corded one. I use the corded one all the time because for me it just seems like it moves a little quicker and all that kind of stuff. So we definitely appreciate everyone coming in. And let me get rid of that. And so, yeah, we really do that. So, like I said, I put Trent's link in the comments, and it's in the thing below. Trent, man, you have a really cool channel, and I really wish you a lot of success with your channel. I will be following, and if anyone watches any of Trent's videos, definitely share them with your friends. Like, comment. That stuff all helps the algorithm. And I'm pretty sure in the next week you're going to be hitting that 1,000 subscribers, man. How's that feel, getting close to that milestone?
Feels great. It's been great and fun the whole way along, and my viewers and commenters are great, and I certainly appreciate it. Aside from this shout out, basically the shout outs that you've given me, we've pretty much just been doing it with our little community on my channel, growing a few subscribers at a time. So to hit past that milestone, that mark is a great feeling.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you have a lot of great information, so I'm glad that people are tuning in and doing all that kind of stuff. Uh, Trent, any final words before we exit stage left here?
Uh, yeah, just thank you once again. Thanks so much for helping me out with this live, and uh, you helping me. I certainly appreciate that. Uh, just come on over to my channel and continue to follow me on my journey. We're having a good time. My wife and I, we're thrifting, we're finding toys, and we're constantly learning too. So as we learn, that knowledge is just like we're all getting a lesson, and continuing our knowledge base to build it as we go along. And that's about it. Glad to be here. Glad to be doing YouTube, and it's look forward to hitting that past that 1,000 subscribers and see what happens after that.
Yeah, well, awesome. And I want to thank you too. I mean, I really appreciate all the different nuggets of information, especially like things that I have no idea about Nerf guns. I know about them, but I had no idea there was this whole world of reselling and stuff like that. So I definitely appreciate, all the knowledge that you have and the different ways you go about, your videos and the different things that you share. And I think that's really cool, man. And I just wanted to like let everyone know that you're out there and you have a really good channel and all that. So Hope everyone goes and subscribes. If you're looking for another channel to support, Trent's your guy for sure. And like I said, he does a lot of really cool stuff and things like that. So we're really looking forward to all that. We got Marikeach 7 says, thank you, Chris. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Trying to, Trent, have you had any burnout yet with YouTube? Have you got to that level yet?
Well, with the YouTube part of it, I did stop making videos a little bit, but then I started making videos again. It was only maybe like a 6-month period. And then some of the viewers said, hey, you should just start making more frequent videos. You could do better as far as growing on YouTube and stuff. And so then since that happened, it's been about a year ago, I've been, I haven't had any burnout and been nonstop on it. And the passion of enjoying reselling and collecting, and I'm doing this having a lot of fun, because it's not not to say that if you were full time that you're not having a good time, but I'm definitely having a good time. So
I gotta mention this real quick. One of the Radical Resellers' most popular videos are the Black Diamond VHS.
Yeah.
Do you have one of those too? I haven't seen your Black Diamond video yet.
Oh yeah, it is one of my most popular videos. Back whenever I was just first making videos, and I called my channel Quick Flip Easy Ship, and that name really rolls off the tongue. I know.
It does.
So I rebranded whenever I got back into non-burnout. I rebranded my channel too to have a better name and theme and everything.
I gotta go check that out. One of my most viewed videos is a Disney VHS video, like basically the ins and outs on the, because
I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because
I
it's the knowledge is out there. I mean, everyone needs to know, because the thing is, even till this day, I get managers that text me and are like, "Oh, I got all these Disney VHSs that just came in, man. Like, how much are these worth?" And I'm just like, they're really not worth anything. Like,
no. Well, because of the hype, I was able to sell a Beauty and the Beast for like $10-15,
Yeah. But, I mean, that's basically how much a sealed one goes for if it's in mint condition.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, another thing too is the plastic clamshells, they're made out of plastic, so they they degrade over the years, and so there's that. Real quick, since we're talking about Disney VHSs, if you ever come across the Disney Cars one, that's the most expensive one you're ever going to find. Did you know Disney Cars, the Lightning McQueen?
Yeah.
So that movie, if you ever find it in VHS form, it's worth probably $300 or $500 loose, and probably more sealed. It
was just really low print.
What happened was, it was one of the last titles ever made on VHS for Disney, and it was. Do you remember ever seeing those weird little flyers where oh, join the movie of the week club, and you'd pay $9.99 and they would send you a VHS every month?
Yeah.
So it was exclusive to that. So not only did that was the tail end of VHS for Disney, it was also an exclusive to the Disney Movie Club.
Wow.
So it's super rare. So finding it sealed is insane. So there's lots of there's lots of crazy stuff out there for that. And it's easy to know, Disney Cars, I know that movie. If I ever see it on VHS, it's worth tons of money. So yeah, there's that.
You probably wouldn't think anything of it. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. No, I was gonna say, man, I appreciate you tuning in. And like I said, go and I know I could talk to you for hours and hours. So maybe we'll do this again once you've reached 1,000, and maybe a few weeks down the road, we'll see where you're at and touch base. But I really enjoyed talking with you, and I appreciate the knowledge.
Glad to be here. It was fun. It was great.
So everyone go and check out his links, do all that kind of stuff. Go and comment on every one of his videos and share every one of his videos. And I hope everyone enjoyed this program, and we'll see you next time. All right. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.